What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Resident Evil showcase that's going to be showing off Resident Evil 9, or as it's officially called, Resident Evil Requiem. You guys don't know this because I don't think I've mentioned it before, but I am a huge Resident Evil fan. Resident Evil 2, first Resident Evil game I played, and to this day, so far, the original is still my favorite. So I'm excited to see what Resident Evil Requiem will bring us. So without further ado, let's get into the showcase. Oh, we're actually getting gameplay.
はい、出ないとは言ってないですね。
Okay, cool. Great gameplay.
いえ、言ってないです。まあ実際、あの時も話しましたけど、レオンでもうバチバチのホラーのステージをテストしてみたんですけど、やっぱりこんなレオンあんま見たくなくないっていう意見が大半だったっていうのは事実としてありますね。今回グレイスとレオンで全然違うゲームになってます。グレイスの方はその RE2 ですとかバイオ7もそうですね。ホラーに特化したゲーム体験になってまして、レオンの方。
Yeah, I gotta say this isn't giving me much hope on how it will feel as them separated. It's really giving vibes of Resident Evil 6. How they try to do a little too much with that game by appealing to everyone who's been a fan of the different types of Resident Evil games there are. When you try to make a game for everyone, a lot of times you end up making a game for no one. So I really hope this game avoids those pitfalls.
バイオハザードって緊張と弛緩のその差っていうのが一つ面白さだと思ってるんですけども、すごく緊張して静かなペースで進む。
I think one issue with trying to give a sense of catharsis, a little bit of kind of like tension and then release, is the release can really kill the tension and it might be hard to bring the tension back up. So that is a little worrying.
Leon to Grace.
I wonder how exactly they're going to structure it. Are we going to play half of the game as Grace and then the other half as Leon? Are we going to start off with Grace, play like the first 25% as Grace, play a huge Leon section, then the ending as Grace? Or is it going to switch back and forth like repeatedly, like Leon Grace, Leon Grace, Leon Grace?
DSO のエージェントとして、バイオハザードテロ。今回のゾンビは生前のその人の特徴っていうのを引き継いでいるゾンビがいます。
I mean, at this point, are they even really zombies?
例えばこの館の中で掃除係の人がいるんですけども、その人はゾンビになってもひたすらこう。
I would be pissed if I was undead and then I still had to do fucking chores.
いろんなこう生前の行動に執着するゾンビがいて、ゲームでは彼らの行動を観察して、うまくかわすのに利用したり倒すのに使うと、こういったことができるようになってます。
You can really see the influence of Resident Evil 4 on Leon's sections in this game. Even to the point of bringing back the Chainsaw Doctor.
RE4 から進化したサバイバルアクションになってます。
Alright, yeah, so This is the catharsis they're talking about. Not even just for this game, but for Resident Evil 4 of how many times fucking the Chainsaw Doctor killed my ass.
中心になってくるので、さらに洗練されたガンプレイっていうところにも力を入れてますね。また V を狙って、敵に体術を決める。それから敵が持っていた武器を奪って利用する。
I like how so far they've been showing Leon's gameplay as third person and Grace's gameplay as first person because this is exactly how I plan on playing the game.
どうやって倒すのか、そういった戦略を立てるのが面白さであり、それがうまくいった時にさらにこうカタルシスが倍増する、そういったゲームプレイになってます。グレースのゲームプレイは閉鎖空間の中を、投資弾薬。
I am glad that they are showing that Grace uses weapons. One of my fears of this game was that Grace was going to play more like Outlast and Leon was going to be the only one with the combat, whereas Grace would just be sneaking around, pretty defenseless. I'm glad to see that that's not what they're doing.
そのための様々な手段を用意しています。 それほど重火器いっぱい出てくるわけではないんですけども、一つこう象徴的な武器としてレクイエム
Not sure how I feel about Grace still being able to do stealth kills. It doesn't help to differentiate their two different kind of gameplay styles. And if they're really trying to harken back to classic survival horror and kind of how Resident Evil 2 Remake was with Grace's gameplay, I don't think stealth kills really help with that. That's more of the action heavy trying to kill I know stealth isn't exactly action, but it's part of the more okay kill all enemies kind of style that we're used to with the game like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, rather than the more strategic trying to survive, trying to avoid enemies style of, say, RE1 and 2. Product placement. I don't know if this is the first time Resident Evil has had product placement, but this is the most egregious one of it. One thing my friend has mentioned to me that I am wondering is when this collaboration eventually ends, the contract expires, what are they going to do? Are they going to make new versions of the game that doesn't have a Porsche in it? Or were they smart enough to get a contract where they basically have the right to use it in the game in perpetuity?
Don't spawn out of nowhere. For his adventures, Leon needed a car which represents his style, but also delivers when it comes to navigating him through.
Also, with getting a whole brand sponsorship for it, is it just going to be used in cutscenes, or are there going to be times where we're driving the car in the game?
The team stayed true to its characteristics by still ensuring it feels authentic in this world. It took a lot of expertise from different departments.
More product placement, more brand collaborations? I didn't even know about this one.
Autochrono and the Pan-Europe Automatic will be in limited edition, 2,000 pieces each, and will release alongside Resident Evil Requiem on February the 27th. Please.
Guys, do I burn my bank account trying to get the Resident Evil watch collection?
In addition to the base game, a deluxe edition featuring bonus content will also be available for purchase. Extra costumes for Grace and Leon, weapon skins, and screen filters will be included in this edition. Those who pre-order.
I usually don't go for deluxe editions, but I gotta admit, that Lady Dimitrescu skin for Grace is really getting me tempted.
Along with the platforms shown, the game will also be available on the cloud gaming service GeForce Now.
Cloud streaming's making a real comeback. I think it goes to show that Stadia came out just a little too early. Maybe if they cooked it for a couple more years, then it would have been better received when it came out.
Work on Resident Evil. The iconic series has been thrilling fans around the world for close to 30 years and has continued to raise the bar for innovation and technology.
This doesn't do too much for me. I'm not the biggest graphic person. As long as the basic PS5 games graphic fidelity, good enough for me. Honestly, I was even satisfied with PS4. But hey, for those who actually enjoy this stuff, I'm glad you get it.
An AI-powered NVIDIA DLSS 4 with multi-frame generation for incredibly fast performance. DLSS also makes Resident Evil Requiem more accessible across a wide range of PCs, extending the nightmare to more gamers. And with GeForce Now, gamers can
That's something I really want to know, how well this game runs on streaming.
launch with the cutting-edge graphics and performance on nearly any device, streaming from powerful GeForce RTX servers in the cloud. I can't wait to unlock the mysteries of Raccoon City once again.
Not only that, 1/6 scale figures of our two and
Not gonna lie, guys, this Switch 2 controller looks like ass.
will be released on the same day as the game. And as a series first, Amiibo will also be available. Please look forward to more information. On Resident Evil Requiem launch day, the gold editions of both Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, including all downloadable content, will be released on the Nintendo Switch 2. We'll also be celebrating 30 years of the series with special concerts. Relive the series' greatest moments with breathtaking orchestral performances. The first ticket lottery is open right now to Resident Evil ambassadors. Concerts are planned for not just Japan, but North America and Europe. More information on these will be released later.
これもねまだお伝えしてるんですけど、実はレオンにはある秘密があって、そことも関わってくる要素だったり、グレースのお母さんアリスタが殺された、そこにも関わる非常に重要なものになっているので、この辺のねその謎をプレイしてぜひ解き明かしていってもらえればなと思います。
Yeah, there's a secret they haven't released about Leon yet. They've only shown this nasty shit crawling up his neck. No idea what relationship this could have with Elpis.
Why did you kidnap me?
Kidnap you? I liberated you.
Yeah, this combat with Leon goes far above anything 4 did. This is straight up Resident Evil 6.
What is happening here?
I'll keep our friends busy.
I get it from a marketing standpoint of why they would do this, but I really think it would have been the better move, or at least I would have preferred it if they did not show Leon in any of the marketing before we actually got our hands on this game. Especially with how everyone already assumed he'd be in the game. I just think it'd be a fantastic surprise to assume you're only playing as this one character, this new character, and then have this legacy character that everyone wants to see again show up maybe midway through the game. I get everyone basically already knew he was going to be in the game, but that doesn't mean you can't like keep it some kind of surprise. Kind of like they did with Chris in Resident Evil 7. I guess it's just because games nowadays are really afraid to keep anything secret. Even movies, if they believe that they have something that can really draw an audience in, they'll show it whether it's to the benefit of the actual product or not. I get Leon being such a big part of this game, they have to show him. I just thought it'd be very cool for him to come out of nowhere. What I'm really hoping is that since they're showing Leon, they have some other characters in this game that they're keeping back from us. Like one theory I keep seeing is that Sherry Birkin's in the game, that it's not Hunnigan on the phone with him, that it's Sherry returning, helping out. I really hope that's true. I love Sherry. I think that would be a great addition to the game. And if we're going the route of bringing back the Raccoon City survivors, at least the survivors from Resident Evil 2, where's Claire? Have Claire show up at some point. Have her be the character that they're keeping back from the audience. Claire, aside from a remake, Claire hasn't been in a game since Resident Evil 2. And if they are planning on making a remake of Code Veronica, this would be a great way to keep her in the public gaming consciousness, especially to new Resident Evil fans. Am I the only person that doesn't like the idea of hearing, oh, it's like you're playing 2 completely separate games? I want to play this game. I want to play the one game. I'm buying Resident Evil because I like Resident Evil games. I'm getting this game because I want to play Resident Evil Requiem. I don't want to feel like, I'm playing Resident Evil Requiem. Every now and then, I'm going to take a little break to feel like I'm playing Silent Hill. That's not really what I'm into when I'm playing a game. I want to play that one game. If you guys agree or disagree with this sentiment, let me know. I want to know if I'm alone in this. Thrilling tension really is not how I would have described Resident Evil 4. I would have called it more exciting action. I can't believe that in a showcase for a Resident Evil game, a horror game, they just advertise that, yeah, these parts of the game don't really feel like a full-on horror game. Then what's the point of making it a horror game? Again, guys, I hope I'm wrong. I love Resident Evil. I want nothing more than to sink countless hours into this game. I desperately want to love this game so much. I agree that Resident Evil games do a really good job of bridging the gap between tension and relief, but I think the reason it works so well is most of the entire game is building the tension until maybe like the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game, maybe even the last hour, where if you've been playing well, you basically build up your arsenal so much that you can afford to have the release of tension. You can waste every enemy you come across. You can dump so much ammo into just a lifeless body. When you do it that way, the relief really feels earned from suffering throughout the entirety of the game. If you just have these moments where you're just playing as Grace and Leon, then Grace, then Leon, I'm not sure if it will work as well. I'm also really wondering how the item management is going to work in this game. Is it kind of going to be like Code Veronica, where Claire can just throw everything in the box and then Chris can pick it up later and vice versa? Or is this truly going to be the thing of, hey, Grace has her items, and then when you're playing as Leon, he has his own items. So then it begs the question of, do Leon and Grace have their own item boxes? They don't really transfer over. Maybe Leon doesn't have his own item box. Maybe he just has his attaché case. Whereas Grace has the more limited inventory, and she has item boxes she needs to use. I'm interested to see what they go with. He'll be pushed to his absolute limit. Hey guys, this fucking 60-year-old man, this senior citizen, will really be pushed to the physical limits of what the human body can do. This Uncle Grandpa over here will just fucking curb stomp, just kick smash a zombie's head in. I understand the people who say that Leon's basically been so experienced and gotten so powerful that he can't do regular survival horror anymore. If he's included in the game, it has to be action-based. They say the same thing about Chris, and for the longest time, I was one of those people. But now I'm kind of thinking, because I never really thought about their ages before, now I'm kind of thinking, yeah, it might make sense for Leon to not be able to do all these. He might not be able to throw the best punch. He might not be able to flip an enemy over his back. He might not be able to one-handed swing a chainsaw and murder a group of monsters. He's getting old. You know, I don't know about everyone, but when my grandparents were getting old, they got pretty frail. I used to work at an old folks home, and I can't see many of those people putting up well in a fight. They could have used, if they wanted to, they could have used that as an excuse to make Leon's sections more horror-based, kind of like Grace's are, or kind of like his used to be. But obviously, that's not the route they want to go. Resident Evil 4 original, 5, 6, all very financially successful. Resident Evil Village also brought the action back up, successful. Resident Evil 4 Remake, of course that one was successful. Resident Evil 4 is a lot of people's favorite Resident Evil game, and a lot of people's favorite game in general. So of course that one's gonna hit. So of course Capcom is gonna want to ride off the high of it and try to bring back Leon's gameplay into the new game. Having zombies retain characteristics from when they were alive, it really doesn't do much to differentiate them from later on kind of enemies we have in Resident Evil games. Like, how are they going to make the zombies in Requiem feel any different than the Los Illuminados in Resident Evil 4, and even the Juavo in Resident Evil 6? I am glad they're bringing back zombies, though. They have to be the best enemies in a Resident Evil game. I do like that they're using this as an excuse to help with stealth gameplay and to give an excuse to how the zombies can create a path for you to go by. You're just paying attention to what they're doing, and as their minds are desperately trying to cling to their sanity or trying to relive their past life before they were infected, they're just desperately trying to do anything that makes them feel normal. So it opens up opportunities for you to be able to study them, to get by, and even kill them from behind. Despite my reservations with the idea, I do think it's really smart of them, and I do think it'll lead to some very fun gameplay. I guess at the very end of the day, that's the most important part. Is the game fun? Do I love playing the game? And of course, I want the answer to be yes. Honestly, that's a pretty sick chair kick. Love that they're bringing back the parries. That was probably my favorite edition of Resident Evil 4 Remake. To the people who say that not every game needs a parry, while you are right, you're wrong if you say this game doesn't need a parry, or you're wrong if you say that Leon doesn't need to be parrying. Yes, my boy does. If Leon's going to be in an action-based game or have action-based segments, my man needs to parry with a knife. Oh, he's not even parrying with the knife. I forgot. Dude has a hatchet. I think that weapon's too strong. In Grace's sections, you really shouldn't have a fairly overpowered way to attack like that. And if this is more like the Magnum in Resident Evil and it's a later game weapon, I don't think they should be showing it this early. Alright everyone, well that was my reaction to the Resident Evil showcase. I really want to know what you guys think about the showcase and the game overall. I think the showcase really didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. Everyone could pretty much already figure out all the important bits that they told us in the showcase. I think they only really added some details, like how some elements of Grace's campaign will work, such as crafting requiring blood. You have stabilizers again, they're bringing that back from Resident Evil 7. The biggest surprise to me is no demo. I think this is the first Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 7 that doesn't have a demo, and I'm really wondering why. For the longest time, I thought the reason was, and the reason they didn't show much gameplay, was, as I said earlier, Leon was gonna have the combat, and Grace wasn't gonna be able to use a weapon. She was only really gonna sneak around. And I assume that's why we weren't getting a demo. But seeing how that's not the case, I'm really curious why. Maybe it's because they don't want to do two separate demos again or have one demo have two separate sections to show off both Grace's and Leon's gameplay, because you can't exactly show one or the other and tell people, hey, this is what you should expect from this game. This is akin to the finalized product, because it's not. There's a whole, as they say, there's a whole different style of game that you wouldn't experience by doing it. I just think it's an interesting choice. Now, getting this close to the release of the game, I'm not surprised they didn't announce a demo now. I feel like if there was going to be a demo, it probably would have come out during the Game Awards. So it's a little sad I don't get a taste of this game. We all have to wait until launch day, which I'm excited for. So yeah, guys, let me know your hype level for this game. Are you as excited for it as I am? Despite the couple of things they said in here that I'm not really a fan of, it's a Resident Evil game. Of course I'm gonna get it day one. Of course I'm super hyped for it. Of course I'm probably gonna play it 5, 6, 7 times. And obviously I'm gonna get the platinum trophy for this one. Let me know if you guys are planning on playing it or if this is just gonna be a one and done for you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, take care.